Hello everyone, long time no see. We're back with my random 12U assortment of stuff. And as you might be able to tell, considering the last update was in August last year, 2016, you might be able to see that a few things have changed. A, the camera I'm using is different because I used to film on my Note 4 and I'm now a Pixel user since Pixel XL since when? Its release, whenever that was, October? Was that October? Jeez, it was. So yeah, you might notice immediately that my Supermicro system has vanished, which was running the ASNA storage system, which was FreeNAS. Yeah, it's disappeared in favor of this Dell R710. What essentially happened is the board started to do some very strange things where it was insistent that there was PCIe errors, and unfortunately that's the thing that you've got to deal with sometimes with second-hand hardware that might have been pushed quite hard in its first life. So yeah, I picked up this Dell R710. It was pretty much bare bones. It had like 8 gig of RAM, 2 pretty bad quad cores, non-hyper-threaded. So I stuck my L5520s in this instead, and the RAM, and yeah, I put the 2 terabytes in caddies on the actual system, so that's still my original array, but now you can see I have this MD1000 disk array. This is just simply going into a the equivalent of a 9211 8E. The equivalent of, it's actually like a Dell H200, which can be flashed with the IT mode firmware of the 9211. So it's just hooked into this. The 1000 mode controllers are HBAs, well, not HBAs, but just expanders, so they don't do anything crazy. You can't do it with an MD3000 because the controllers like to do RAID themselves. But yeah, in here, just for testing at the minute, I've got, what is this, 7 450 gig SAS drives, which is pretty impressive because they can clock a read of about 1.1 gigabyte a second, which is pretty fucking cool, to be honest. Pretty much topping out SAS connection, I believe, because it's only a 4x3 SAS. So I'm amazed it even does well like that. But yeah, above it we've still got this Oracle system, the X4170 Mark II. Yeah, X4170, I always call it a 150 every single time. So this is still the dual hexacores with hyperthreading, so 24 threads, 96 gigs of RAM, 4 146 gig disks. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive, 500 gig hard drive, not a 1 terabyte, it's a SAS now rather than a SATA. And in addition to above this, you now see I've got a PowerEdge R610. Going to be very similar spec to this eventually. It's got the same processors, dual hexacores with hyperthreading, the X5650s, I forgot to say that. So 2.7 gigahertz. Currently it's only got 24 gigs of RAM in it. I will be balancing these out, most probably just increasing this one up to 96 with, because the difference is this one can only take 12 DIMMs, but this one can take 18. Oh well. So I'll have to use 8 gig DIMMs in this one. And the old so these are the primary and secondary hypervisor. They are actually in a high variables cluster with each other, although I rarely have this on at the minute because of the RAM differences. And this is still my original, a hypervisor, the Proxmox one, with just a single L5520. Actually, I think I swapped it out to an E5620, which was slightly high clock, I can't remember, but there's still 24 gigs of RAM. And you might be able to see in there a slightly even newer edition. God. So wow, this is where things get messy and a bit dark and a bit hard to see, because weirdly you can't turn the flash on mid-recording. I don't know. So yeah, this new edition at the top is technically a Quanta LB6M. So 24 port SFP plus. Yes, that's a 24 port 10 gigabit switch, and as you can see I've already got what is this, 8 ports populated on it. So I've got 2 in LACP going back up to the switch above my head that goes back to the house. This is for the primary hypervisor, the secondary hypervisor, and the storage system. Unfortunately, due to some weirdness with FreeNAS at the minute, these aren't bonded together at all. So this, and plus it's not exactly great layout. So as I was saying, these are LACP. But this one link down to the primary hypervisor carries my traffic, I guess. So my network, the house network, the guest network. This one carries the storage. Same for the other hypervisor, data, and then storage. This one down to the storage server. This is like, because of the way FreeNAS didn't want to LACP properly over 10 gig links. Don't know, still looking into it. This one's on my network, so the house, the LAN, the house, the guest. Well, not the guest, because I don't want the guest plonking up my storage server. And this one is VLAN for the storage. So this, essentially, these links are all the same, whilst all of these are data instead. So yeah, it's pretty monstrous now. So it's got the equivalent of 80 gigabits worth of bandwidth here, which is mental. So yeah, I've got the X520s, DA2s, one here, one there, and one down here. So I had to unfortunately take the 10 gig NIC out of my, if you're wondering what this is a temperature probe that's hooked up to a Raspberry Pi, hence why it's dangling here. But yeah, I took the DA2 out of my desktop because I used to have one in there. I'm looking for a DA1 instead, just so I can regain 10 gig back to my desktop. But I will be using like another one in another system to back some of this stuff up, not remotely, but sort of locally, but in a different location. Yeah, and so we can see the back of the MD1000, and then I've got the one controller hooked up. I know this is most very horrifically dark at the second, but oh well. And that's the HBA connection I was on about here. The laser focus is getting confused by all the cables. So yeah, that was a very quick update, I guess. He says at 7 minutes. Oh well. Well, hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Maybe with something a little more concrete. Maybe.